welcome to Studio C, the listening room. I'm Michael Snyder-Barker.
Hey, and I'm Andy Schiller.
We have our a great guest, John Delcamp.
Round of applause. Thanks for joining us, John.
He's the main dude of the Nitpickers, which I'm wearing a Nitpickers shirt today because I'm an occasional nitpicker.
Like most of them.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah.
What a cool name for a band.
Well, yeah, I originally thought of calling us the Tick Pickers because there's ticks around here.
Right,
and
right.
I thought, well, so I picked Nitpickers. So
Yeah. And how long have you been performing under the Nitpickers name?
since about 2017,
Okay. Okay.
and I started the band out. Well, one reason was because there wasn't a lot of demand for banjo pickers.
Mm.
So since I never got asked to play in any other bands, I said, well, heck, I'll just start my own band, you know. That way I can invite anybody they want, and I get to play every time. So,
Well, that's it. That's it.
so
That's
that.
a great goal.
Yeah, we're kind of an open-ended group. It can be as many as 15, 16 on stage sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And you're
pretty-
recording, man. You must have had, what, 30 people in that room?
Well, there were 29 microphones set up for the recording session.
Yeah.
So that gave the sound man a lot to work with.
I know, and I've got
29.
one of your CDs on the wall of CDs over there.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh yeah, the Wall of Fame.
Wall
Yeah.
of Fame.
So, Andy, how you want to start this one tonight?
I'm going to just go ahead and ask the question I asked to all the guests. Do you write songs? And if you do you write chords first or do you write lyrics first?
Both.
Okay.
Sometimes a song will come to me, a song about cats.
There you go.
We had a couple of kittens, and they were running all over the house, and I said, man, I got to put this to music because they were just crazy as kittens are. And so I picked up the banjo. So that was the beginning of the
You got to start.
Kindle a Kitten song.
It's a fun song, actually. I've enjoyed playing it with
That's
you.
good, yeah. We might even do it here, maybe next.
Yeah.
And other times, I'll go through archives, sometimes 50 years old,
Yeah.
looking for poetry and stuff. And I'll look at some words and then try to come up with music to that.
Yeah.
And the most recent song I did was we went out west last month, and everywhere we went, there were cows.
Mm.
Cows, 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 cows. Everywhere there were cows. So, of course, had to write a song about cows.
Have
so,
to. Have to.
So I did that. And
I wrote a song about traveling, and the whole idea that all the restaurants are everywhere. You go to the mountains and there's a McDonald's. You go to the ocean, there's a McDonald's. You go to a desert, there's a McDonald's.
Yep.
You know, and I called it Generica.
okay.
Yeah, it was a fun song.
Yeah. We look for those out-of-the-way places when we go to eat sometimes.
Well, I didn't eat there. I just noticed that
right,
they existed. You know,
Right.
when I travel, I'd like to go someplace that's a little more local.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, local cuisine.
So the Nitpickers would you consider it folk music? Would you consider it country music? Would you consider it, I know it's always hard to think of a genre.
The answer is yes.
You play all of it.
To all.
So disco also.
Yeah, we also do a lot of originals. So.
I might call it Americana because that
Sure,
encompasses
that
folk
would be-
music and early country and
That would be
traditional songs.
That would be pretty accurate.
You know, and you've got a lot of great performers, a lot of guitar players, but you've got a mandolin player, Hayden Carruth, and you've got a great harmonica player,
Marley.
bass, Marley, yep,
Marley Turner.
yeah,
We have a guitar section.
yeah.
So, you think of it like that as an orchestra. And it's always interesting to me because I'll gather these people in my house for rehearsal and I'll be throwing new stuff at them. And, for a while there I was apprehensive about doing gigs.
Yeah.
Because, are we going to be good enough? Are we going to be all right? Well, every time I come out of rehearsal I'm feeling good about things.
Yeah.
Because there's so much great talent. Yeah. Dylan Turner on the piano is fantastic.
Yep.
And,
now we've had Mill and Seth here, and we've had Candy
Okay.
So we've had 2 other nitpickers.
Sure. Yeah, there seem to be a lot of us. Well, what we do about a gig a month.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to the point where I'm not looking for gigs; they kind of come to me now, and
Isn't
that's
that
kind
a
of
nice,
nice.
That's a nice feeling.
Yeah, and I don't try to over rehearse the band because it
Yeah.
keeps things fresh. In fact, sometimes on stage, we're on stage doing a gig, and I suddenly whip out a dozen copies of some song and pass them like, "Here you go, buddy." You know, they never heard the song. You know, just follow along.
Well,
And
it's
so
a fun
those
group. You tell stories, and the songs you write are story songs, like your Kindle
Kindle a Kittens.
Kindle of Kittens.
Yeah,
It's a fun
that's
one.
a pretty nice one to start with. Shall we start with that one?
Yeah. You want us to play with you? Or?
Sure.
Okay,
I
because
always want people to play with me.
I've played
You know,
this song with you several times.
Sure. Part of the banjo is constantly making mistakes and correcting them.
Right.
And so you correct them so fast that, you know, you're out of the mistake with the next note. So I don't worry too much about perfection. And I always tell the group, number one, have fun.
That's it.
Have the fun, and we'll worry about, you know, if we're going to get in the studio.
If I make a mistake, I just play it twice. That way everybody knows I meant to do it.
It's jazz.
Well, that's the other advantage of doing your own songs is people don't know it's a mistake, and for all they know, that sour note was supposed to be in there.
It's
you
supposed
know?
to be there.
I wrote it that way.
Yeah. Really.
Now you generally start them off, right?
Okay. Talk about mistakes. I'm going to start this again. Meow, meow, run around, run around, run around, run around. The soda house. Hey, hey, run around, run around, run around, run around. The soda house. The Kindle of Kittens. The Clouder of Cats. The Pride of Lions. Now how about that? Meow, meow, jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around. This old house. Hey, hey, jump around, jump around, jump around, jump around. This old house. A lake of leopards. A lynx of lynx. A streak of tigers. Now how about that? Meow, meow, slide around, slide around, slide around, slide around. This old house. Hey, hey, slide around, slide around, slide around, slide around. This old house. Slaughter of ocelots. Pounce of bobcats. Prowl of jaguars. Now how about that? Meow, meow, race around, race around, race around, race around. This old house. Hey, hey, run around, run around, run around. Catch a mouse. This old house. Perfect ending. And then everybody goes, meow.
You know, I was just thinking that, and on the recording, there's a bunch of meow.
That was on
Candy.
purpose.
Yeah, that was fun.
So this song, when I introduce this song, I usually say, well, everybody knows about cats, right?
Right.
So after you hear this song, you'll know even more about cats.
That's right. And a variety of cats.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And the song kind of wrote itself. The lynx and that and the clutter of ocelots. I got out my phone, my Google, and I started. What do you call a group of cats? It's a clutter of cats. What do you
Right.
call a group of ocelots? A clutter of ocelots.
Yeah.
So the song kind of wrote itself.
A leap of leopards?
Yes.
That's interesting.
And a lynx, a lynx. And I asked it, what do you call a group of pumas?
Huh.
And there said there's no word. Well, what about mountain lions or
Right.
catamounts, all the same
Or
critter?
panthers.
So there really was no word for that because those animals don't conjugate in groups.
Oh, yeah.
They're solitary.
Pretty much. But I did find a possible word to explain that. I didn't add it to the song, but it's called a range of mountain lions. A range of, which, you know, it's not really a group. So
Right.
that was interesting to me.
Yeah. No, I really find your songwriting to be great fun.
I like that song. Why don't you do one by yourself and then we'll do another one together?
Okay. Here's a song I just wrote. Well, I was over in Montana. There right next to me was a pasture full of cows, and they were having their morning tea. So I started plucking the banjo to see what I could see, and they all come shuffling over, so they quietly listened to me. So let's hear it for the cows. A better audience you won't find. They don't talk while you're playing, and their attention is sublime. Well, they won't give me no money, and they won't pay me no fee, but they seem to like the music, and that's just fine with me. Now these cows, they were happy. They had their babies by their sides, and plenty of fresh green grass to fatten up their old cow hides. But there's other cows out in the desert, and they ain't looking too fair. There ain't nothing for them out there to eat but that prickly old prickly pear. So let's hear it for the cows. Better audience you won't find. They don't talk while you're playing, and their attention is sublime. Well, they won't pay you no nickel, and they won't give you no dime. But they seem to like the music, and they'll listen every time. This is the part where the band goes, moo. Yeah, make it sound like a herd of cows out there, people. There's another verse. I'm waiting for it to come to my brain. Oh yeah, Wisconsin. Well, over in Wisconsin, the cows are pampered and pleased, but they suck all the milk right out of them to fill the country with cheese. There's another verse to that too, but I can't remember that one either. So we'll just go right to the chorus. So let's hear it for the cows. A better audience you won't find. They don't talk while you're playing. Their attention is sublime. They don't give me no nickel, and they won't pay me no dime. But they seem to like the music, and to me that's just fine.
Yeah.
So that was your travels over the summer, or over the last month?
In the month of April we went out to Tucson
Hmm.
to visit a daughter, and then we went up to Missoula, Montana to visit the other daughter. And on the way back it was 4 days and 4 states of crosswind. We're trying to hold the car on the road.
Yeah,
And
just fighting the wind.
yeah,
Montana's almost as windy as Wyoming.
yeah, almost. Yes, we went through Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, and then it was Iowa, and finally we kind of got out of it when we got into Minnesota,
Minnesota.
So, tell us about this banjo.
Well, this
it's
banjo,
your regular one.
Yeah, this is my son picked this up for me up in Gaylord for $100.
Oh.
Wow.
Which is a bargain and a half because
Yeah.
it had a nice hard shell case with it that itself was worth more than that.
Yeah.
And so somebody must have got this as a gift and they never learned to do anything with it. So he got it to me. He says, hey, it's a cheap banjo, pick it up. And I like it because it's nice and lightweight. I had another one I was using that I used on our CD, but it weighs a lot, and to hold it on your shoulder for 2 hours,
Yeah.
that can be rough. Let's talk about some of these other
Yeah,
banjos,
show us
huh?
those other instruments.
Start with that one in the back. Yes.
Whoa, this has some weight to it.
Yeah, now this is an Italian-made tenor banjo. Grossly out of tune because one of the pegs is missing and I gotta get it repaired. But it has 4 strings, and this is something that, like Eddie Peabody was a famous da-da-da-da, Dixieland kind of thing.
Yeah.
And this is the first stringed instrument I ever played in my life.
Oh.
My mother bought this for my dad when I was 13. And back then I was playing fiddle in elementary school. And so that's kind of what myself and my brother and my sister, we cut our teeth on this thing. And it's kind of neat that I still have it. It's got a animal skin hide, although it's dried out. This mostly lives in the case.
Now, why does it have 4 strings instead of 5?
Well, it's the earlier version. A 5-string banjo came along after these.
I see.
The original banjos, they might have had only 1 string on. They're basically, or they were a gourd with the skin draped over it, and it was like an African kind of thing. So I don't know how old this is. This probably might be 100 years or so, 120
It's
years.
in great shape. I mean, you can get a new tuner there.
Yeah. Yep. Take up to elderly instruments or one of them places. But I don't play it much anymore. Banjos tend to get pigeonholed.
Right.
When I first started playing, it was all, Beverly Hillbillies,
Right.
And then it was Theme to Bonnie and Clyde, which is Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Right.
And then the next big banjo hit to come along was Deliverance. And then there's a long stretch where there isn't much. There's a little bit of Bella Fleck and things like that in there. And the more recent pop song that I can think of would be Sweet City Woman. Ba-dink, dink, dink, ba-dink, a dink, a dink, dink, dink.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Sweet City Woman.
Early 70s.
Yeah, and that's about as... I haven't heard anything much lately since then.
There's been some banjo activity on the radio with the band Mumford and Sons.
Yep, sure.
Yeah.
As far as like a national hit kind of thing, you see, you see Dolly Parton pick up a banjo and other people, and they do things with it. But it's been a while. So I tried. Part of thing I do is I'm trying to break out of that pigeonhole idea, and that a banjo can be useful for other things.
I went down to Tennessee, Gatlinburg, and every couple times a day they had this band by this distillery. It was a moonshine distillery, and they have this beautiful stage with a bunch of chairs sitting out there, and it was every act had a banjo in it, and it was really kind of cool down home. Tennessee kind of.
They tend to stay local.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's not a lot of demand for banjos in rock and roll and other things, although I can play rock and roll with a banjo.
Well, sure.
Hand me this one here next.
This one?
This banjo I bought in Asheville, North Carolina. It was $600. It's antique. It's listed as 1880s. We were on vacation and I forgot to bring a banjo, so I just went and bought one.
That's what I do too.
Yeah. Now we're going to Ireland for 10 days in September, and I'm not taking a banjo, but I might bring one back. So we'll see how that goes.
This one has a little bit of a more mellow sound than the other one.
Well, it doesn't have the resonator in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got it stuffed with a rag to make it muted, otherwise it tends to sound too plain. doing here, I hope you can see this on the camera, is it's called frailing. And that involves a down pluck and then another down motion. And then as you come back up, you hit that short string with the thumb, so it goes. Sort of like the pluck, brush, thumb thing. Except then going down instead. And that took a little bit of practice.
Yeah.
And I actually had to wrap a rubber band around my fingers to keep them together.
Yeah.
Frailing is an Appalachian kind of way of playing.
So you're just using your index finger and your thumb. These are just kind of...
Well, yeah, but I'm strumming with the other three too.
Okay.
So it's down. So it's the rhythm note, or a melody note, and then a rhythm brush, and then this kind of picks it up.
Okay.
You do it in slow motion, I guess.
Yeah.
This is a nice banjo for campfires or sitting on the back porch.
Yeah. That's
And
a
this
beautiful
other one,
sound.
this other one is really interesting. It's this was made by Kermit Wingard, who used to live in Tecumseh and maybe still does. And it's fretless, and it's made of about 5 or 6 different kinds of wood.
A fretless banjo.
Yeah. And to play this thing, you gotta keep your hand loose because you're not gonna hit the note right. So. Out of tune. It's very lightweight.
Yeah.
A nice little thing.
And I like the heart shape.
Yeah, I don't play that much in public because I usually use this other one because you know I got to be a little bolder.
Right, right.
Sometimes I get that. I know Rihanna Gibbons, who's playing in Ann Arbor this Friday at Top of the Park. She plays a fretless.
Okay.
And she frails it like crazy. Yeah, well, you know about fretless playing a fiddle, so it's. But like I said, you got to keep your hand kind of loose and fluid.
I don't think I've ever played a fretless banjo. I think
You want to try it?
I think I'd be way out of tune. Why don't you tell us about this?
That is a pickup, so that I can plug myself into a PA system, and it actually has a volume knob. That little knob is a volume switch. It's wonderful because then I can throw away my volume pedal.
Right.
And I can just crank that up if I got to do a lead or something. And I just recently got a Fishman amplifier, which is
One of
perfect.
those mini loud boxes.
Yeah, a loud box.
I have that. And it's just a beautiful guitar or amp.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice little amp.
Do you mind if I play this for a second?
No, not at all. I might even learn something. Got some spoons.
Wow, okay. I'm not super great at the banjo, but it's fun to play. I have like fingernails, and so
Well,
it's great for electric.
fingernails are important. I don't use picks. I got tired of trying to find them and stuff, and I use a capo because I think a capo is an impediment from learning how to use the fingerboard. Other people use them, but I know where an A is. I don't have to, I don't have to go looking around for it.
Right.
So that's just me alone. But anyway, here's a song we could do. This is a 2/4 ride along. This is on our CD. see is new. Every vista, every view, as the farms and the fields unfold. This old motor hums along, and it sings a little song in time with the rhythm of the road. Ride along, ride along, little friend, won't you ride along with me? Ride along, ride along, little friend, won't you ride along with me? The landscapes turn to rocks and sand. We will enter desert land with the big sky all around. Daylight falls into the night, shooting stars tracing their flight over sleepy little town. Ride along, ride along, little friend, won't you ride along with me? Ride along, little friend, won't you ride along with me? Let's go for a ride. If you ride along with me, oh, the wonders we will see, waiting just around the next bend. You can keep me company, we'll be fun and fancy free, if you ride along with me, my little friend. Ride along, little friend, won't you ride along with me? Ride along, little friend, won't you ride along with me? The songs can be simple, 2 chords for that
Yeah.
one. There's 2-chord songs out there like crazy.
I know.
You
I
can learn
know.
them real quick.
I need to learn how to write 2-chord songs.
Well, that part's easy. The playing part and the writing. I don't know. I wrote that song for Shannon Lee. She was going out a couple years ago. She was going out west to take care of her mother, and of course I made it more generic, and it applies to the trip we just made.
Right.
They went out to see my family, and
It applies to so many people's experiences.
yeah, sure it does. And the tune in the CD. If you have an old car with a CD player, it's a wonderful little traveling tune.
It is.
You can burn up a few miles with that song.
And I got to tell you, it was so much fun recording with you that day.
Well, that was a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Roof is a master.
Yeah. What we did is we rented the church in Willis Sound. and I invited everybody to a recording party.
Yep.
And so it's pretty much almost an open invitation. So
People came from far and wide.
Yeah, 16 people were there. We got a fella from Manchester and other places, mostly from Ipsy.
Yeah.
You were there, of course.
Tecumseh.
From way out here in Tecumseh. That's right, here in the...
Liz was there from Milan.
Yeah, the center of the world here. Yeah, Liz Cook. She adds so much to the band. She has a tremendous voice.
Yeah.
So that was so it was a 6-hour rental, and the first hour was setting up.
Yeah.
And David Roof had things pretty much set up when we got there, and as they said, he had 39 microphones to put up. So you saw this huge array of all these tracks, and it was his job after that to pull things out. Oh, this sounds good here. That sounds good there.
Yeah.
And your slide guitar work comes prominently on Ride Along and some of the other songs.
Yeah.
And we had a woman there with a gut bucket, or a wash tub bass, so they call it, and another wonderful thing they had a Hammond B3 there.
Right.
So I put Dylan Turner, who usually plays piano, I put him on that thing.
And he had fun.
Yeah, those guys they love it. So
good old guys. You know, and I think one of the things that I really enjoy about playing with the Nitpickers is the camaraderie, the joy, the smiles on people's faces. And,
there's limited drama. Not a lot of drama in that band,
Yeah.
which is fine with me.
Yeah. And chances are, if somebody is not enjoyable to be around, or struggling, or having a bad day, you probably wouldn't invite them.
I probably would. And I'd tell them, come on in, we're not trying to be perfect. If this will cheer you up, then that's kind of our goal.
Yeah. One thing I would love to hear, though, is a violin in your in the.
So would I. In fact, we got this kid who played with us at our Memorial Day celebration, and I'm trying to get a hold of him and he got a CD, and the CD has a little book in it that has the chords and words in it, and he said, "Oh, I've been practicing his songs on my CD. Can I come and join you?" I said, "Absolutely, sure." Sure, I'm looking for a fiddle. If you just play guitar, that would be okay. But I already got like 8 of them, so a fiddle is something different. So we'll take that.
And this is really unusual.
Sure.
So I brought that along most of the time.
Yep. Your father's cigars, huh? That's right on it.
That's the brand name.
Really? Does it actually open up?
It does, and there's electronics in there.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you can even keep your cigars in there.
Probably could.
Put your picks in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Or other things.
Or the slides.
Yeah.
Well, you can never have too many guitar players, I guess, but there's a story I have about... I went to an audition one time in Denver. It was for a wedding band, right? And the leader was like, we always have to have a guitar player. Sometimes we have 2. Tonight we're auditioning several people, so tonight we have 3. You guys figure out what it is you want to do. I gotta go. And the leader of the band left, and so the lead backup singer stepped in to run the rehearsal.
Huh. That seems strange.
And, so he's like, "All right, guys, we're gonna play." It was all cover songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're gonna have everybody play. Okay, and so the song starts. We're looking at the sheet, and we're halfway through it, and he stops and he works with the trumpets and the saxophones, and we're just talking. Okay, well, how about, this song has wah. Okay, one guy's just going to go chick, chick, chick. And then how about you go way up high and play some chords, and then I'll kind of do like a single note thing on the low string, and then you do the wah. We'll have 3 different things going on. This is going to be great. And we start playing the song again, and the leader is like, "Everybody stop. Guitar players, what are you doing?" "Oh, well, one of us is doing the wah-wah, then the other guy is playing chords, and then one of us is playing single notes." "Well, that's not how this song goes. This song has wah-wah guitar, so I'm going to need all 3 of you to play the correct, appropriate part, please. Don't you know it?" And I was like, "You want all 3 of us to play wah-wah guitar at the same time?" Well, yeah, that's what this song is supposed to have. Are you sure? Yes, do it. Okay. So all three of us went like 3 wah-wahs all at once. And he was like, yeah, that's what we need. And we all looked at each other like, this sounds terrible. This is like the worst. There's no way we'll step out on stage and do this. But anyways, that didn't go very well that night.
I think of, I've seen Frank Zappa a couple of times. And
Man.
when the band screws up, he stops the band, everything, and starts over and stuff. So I kind of take an example from him and another from Bob Wills of the Texas Playboys. And these were leaders that they were in control of things, and they ran it, and you can tell.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how the Nitpickers are. It seems chaotic, and at times it is, but sometimes I have to rein them in and say, wait a minute, let's try it again.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like the idea of playing different sorts of parts. So that's
sure. Well, orchestrating it is tricky when you have that many people.
It is.
Unless I'm going to sit down and do some Mozart orchestration. It's when we made the CD, it was. I told everybody just play what you think is right. Play what you want. I wasn't gonna lose hair over that.
No, I get that.
So here's a song that kind of is a theme song,
It
all in
is.
this together of the Nitpickers. Well, some of us come from Texas, and some of us come from Maine, and some was born in a farmhouse just a short ways down the lane, and some come from Kentucky to work the auto lines, and some from West Virginia left the old coal mines. But we're all in this together. Up here on the stage, we'll play some notes that we just wrote. We'll be all the rage. So join us when you know the words. You're all welcome to sing. Clap your hands, stomp your feet, let that freedom ring. Well, we all started picking when we all was kids. Pluck that string and make it talk just like old Grandpa did. We learned that making music was a way to bless the day. That's why we're up here singing, and we just love to sing. We're all in this together, up here on the stage. We'll play some notes that we just wrote. We'll be all the rage. So join in when you know the words. You're all welcome to sing. Clap your hands, stomp your feet, let that freedom ring. Farmers and sailors, miners and cowboys, doctors and lawyers, whatever your employ, you can join in the music and make a little noise. Bring it all together for all to enjoy. 'Cause we're all in this together, up here on the stage. We'll play some notes that we just wrote. We'll be on our way. So join us when you know the words. You're all welcome to sing. Clap your hands, stomp your feet, let that freedom ring. Clap your hands, stomp your feet, let that freedom ring. Dom dom.
That's a great song, and it really kind of it's the feel of the band.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's
everybody
the
kind of
idea.
joins in.
We don't have any doctors and lawyers, but in case one of them joins,
Right.
we'll be ready for them.
Get a mental health therapist.
All right, that's close.
Yeah.
I could add another verse, you know. Mental health therapist, sanitary engineer, whatever. Oh, there's a cow song. I already did that one.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
But, you know, if anybody gets a chance to see the Nitpickers, it's just such a joy. And this...
Well,
this
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And this episode will air not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. And so, gigs you have then, let's see.
Yeah, I got a list of gigs right here.
Why don't you read them off to us?
Sure. Well, this Friday.
It's going to be passed by the time this airs.
Okay. But anyway, there's that Dixboro
So
Farmers
after
Market.
the 15th.
Okay. June 26th is at 7 p.m. is the Manchester Library
Nice.
at their gazebo at Worcester Park, and this is being sponsored by the library. And wow, they're actually going to give us some money, so that's kind of cool. Once in a while we get paid, you know. We get if we make $150, I can give everybody $5 or $10. You know, they might cover some of their gas.
Right.
And then the next gig is again in beautiful downtown Dixboro. This is at 5151 Plymouth Road, Moonwinks Cafe. It's having their Dixboro Summer Festivals, and we'll be in the parking lot at Moonwinks.
Right.
And we play from 1 to 2 p.m. there.
Yeah.
So those are the what's set up at present.
Well, I do know in October, during the local Appalumpkin Festival,
We played here, yeah.
Yeah, Nitpickers are going to play again this coming year.
Oh, wonderful.
Just don't have the time set up yet.
That's fine.
And then you also agreed, if you remember, to play out in at Bob's Barnhouse Jamboree.
Okay.
I don't remember.
You have to update me on that. I don't recall that one.
Okay.
You mean the Nitpickers or just me?
Nitpickers?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been playing their solo, and I thought, it'd be great fun to have you out there. So I think you talked to Bob once. Yeah.
I don't remember, but I don't remember a lot of things.
Well, I'll remind you.
And I also know that as far as the world goes, there's a heck of a lot more stuff that I don't know that I do know. So that leaves an opportunity, I suppose, to learn stuff.
Let's see.
All right, you can get me updated on that. So one of the interesting things when you have a band this large, it kind of limits your venues, because you have to have a stage big enough to fit everybody. And then, so that's part of it. And so that narrows down where we play. But the other good thing about that, though, is wherever we play, there's usually a crowd, because if each member of the band brings one person, then you've already got 15 people in the audience. So
that's great.
That goes, and we, so that's kind of an advantage. All right, here's,
So what is the largest gig you've ever played?
You mean me personally?
Yeah.
This was in 1979 at the, it was a Stop Nuclear Proliferation rally in Lansing. And I played with a friend of mine on the steps of the Michigan Capitol, and there were about 3,500 people there.
Wow.
We were part of that. We did this song called Take Back Your Plan, Mr. Con Ed Man. And that was a friend of mine named Doug Cameron, who lives down in Adrian, I believe, and we used to play together a lot. I should look him up, but anyway, that's another whole story. So that's probably the largest audience. We played at the Michigan State Fair last year, and it was hot, and we got cooked, and the stage was in the sun, and it was pretty terrible. And I also didn't pay anything, so this year I'm not exactly looking to run back to that.
Yeah.
But we also played last year at the Ann Arbor Art Fair.
Okay.
And we would have played there this year, except the date is the exact same date and time as our Dixboro Summer Days on July 19th.
Oh, man.
So Steve Sommers, who set that up, he's looking for another time for us to play, maybe earlier in the week or something.
Okay.
That was a good gig. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we got a few bucks out of that. So
Yeah. I've asked Bob to send the date for that Bob's Barnhouse Jamboree gig. He said you already sent him a photo.
I probably did.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting any smarter.
You know,
I can't remember things any better the older I get. I'll forget words of songs that I've sung for 50 years.
I know. And if we were able to keep every little detail in our heads, then
My head would like go.
I know. And I mean, we probably would run out of thinking about things today. That song, I've played that song with the Nitpickers.
This one?
Yeah, and I've also played that with a band called No Conflict because Ted Monti likes to play.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to do this one?
Well, sure. Tell the story.
All right, this is John, the late, great John Latini wrote this song about Ypsilanti, and I know his wife real well, and she has the rights to the music.
Good.
So I asked her, can we have permission to play this song? Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I asked, well, can we use this on our second CD if we ever make a second CD? Oh, yeah, sure. So I put this in the active repertoire. It's just a blues scale progression, but it's a nice little song. Here's the beat. My town got a river, my town got a train. Ain't the Northern Pacific, and the river ain't the same, but they both cut through the middle of my little domain. My town got a river and a train. My town got a playground, my town got a park, and a big old water tower, now a famous landmark. And the ducks on the water kindly asked to disembark. My town got a playground. My town got a gazebo. My town got a square. My town got a barber, but I don't let him cut my hair. Got restaurants and supermarkets, free parking everywhere. My town got a gazebo and a square. My town got a fountain, my town got a pool, where I spend most of my summers in an effort to get cool. If Michigan was a necklace, Ypsilanti is a jewel. My town got a fountain and a pool. Bring it down now. My town got a courthouse, my town got a bar. It's a simple symbiosis that defines our Shangri-La. Some lawyers will drink whiskey, and some drunks will drive a car. My town got a courthouse and a bar. My town got a river, my town got a train. Ain't the Northern Pacific, the river ain't the same, but they both cut through the middle of my little domain. My town got a river and a train. My town got a river and a train. All right, nice.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
song.
Good night.
Sounds a little better when you have the whole band driving along.
Oh, I know. I
But,
know. I tried to play a little funky.
yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I always loved the blues violin.
Blues violin.
Blues like Sugar Cane Harris. Familiar with him?
Not really,
Are
but
you familiar with Frank Zappa and his album Hot Rats?
I don't know it.
You don't know that one? Okay, well, if you can get a chance, look that up. Sugarcane Harris, Directly From My Heart to You. There's a song on that. It's some of the most badass violin playing I ever heard in my life on that song.
Yeah, and I've heard some fusion violin on King Crimson's record, Red,
Sure.
from mid-'70s.
Yeah, sure.
That's
I
good
remember
stuff.
that. Yeah.
There's a guy from Colorado named Lionel Young. He's a pretty good fiddle player, and he has a band that he travels around with. And he sings too. I think he plays harmonica as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, rock violin is actually pretty cool.
It is.
Bluesy violin, that kind of
Kansas?
stuff. Yeah.
Kansas has a great violinist.
Violin player.
Yeah. So, who is, outside of yourself, who has been with a nitpicker the longest?
Well, that'd probably be Don.
Don.
Navy Don, the bald head. And
Mm-hmm.
he kind of sits in the shadows in the background, but he does scream on one of our songs.
And the very first time I heard that, I was so startled.
That's the point. Yeah, if you don't know it's coming,
Yeah.
because there's a point where you scream, ah,
In fact, on the recording, he had to scream
we had
quieter.
to turn it down, yes. Yeah, because it caught him by surprise, which is the idea.
Yeah.
The idea is to catch people by
Well,
surprise.
I don't know if we want to catch the engineer by surprise. But, Dave dealt with it. He's a pro.
Yeah, of course.
He's a pro.
Like we could do that very song. I can remember the name of it.
Got 3 songs by Candy in there.
Yeah, Candy. I'm always looking for other people to throw their music at us.
I'll bring something next time.
Millen's got Blind Drunk, and he's got a song we do, and this is it, Echo in the Wind.
Yeah,
And he's got a couple, and I'm not the best singer, and I understand that, but so I'm always encouraging other members of the band to sing. And when
Liz
you got
is- yeah, Liz
15
is-
people,
Yeah.
our last gig that we did at our backyard Memorial Day celebration, I think we had a dozen songs, about 7 or 8 of them were sung by others, so you could feature them.
Yeah.
And this once again goes along kind of with what Bob Wills did with the Texas Playboys.
Right.
He was a fiddler, of course, and he had a first-rate band, but you'd better be ready because he might point his bow at you. That means it's time for you to do your lick, and go ahead. So one of the ways I stay sharp playing the banjo is every Wednesday morning at the Ypsi Township Community Center, which is out there in Clark Road. There's a golf course there. People, retirees, pretty much gather there at 9:30 till noon, and there's about a dozen of us, and they pass a microphone around. And when it comes to you, you do whatever you want, And if you do a song everybody knows, they'll play along. And if they don't, they'll do their best,
Yeah.
play along. And there's some excellent musicians in there.
Yeah.
There's a fella, Mike and Susie. I don't know their last names. They're from Manchester, and he plays a fiddle. He's a tremendous fiddle player. He's ranked in the top 25 of the state of Michigan or something like that. And his wife plays a big old stand-up bass. And I go in there, and I'm like one of the youngest ones there. And I'm in my 70s, so they kind of give you an idea what's going on. But in the course of the 2 hours, a lot of older folks will come in just to listen.
Nice.
And we'll get a big crowd of 15, 20 people come in to listen to our music. And some people, they always bring in the same song every week and stuff, but me, I'm always throwing curveballs at them. I say, oh, how about this one? Here's a Ry Cooder song, or here's some Stephen Foster or something like that.
Tell us about the story about the song.
Echo in the Wind. Okay, my sister-in-law writes on the internet poetry and stuff, and she's quite good. And so she wrote these words, and I asked, well, can I put this to music? And she said, sure, of course. So I arranged it into a song fashion. And this is one of about 3 or 4 different songs she's written. And this is called Echo in the Wind. Down to G. messages hump. At times, messages quite clever. It is a force that is strong, and it is traveled long. At times a whisper, at times a scream. Nice. It reaches to the earth below and to the sky above. You can hear it anytime. The beating heart of love. It is a force that is strong, and it is traveled long. At times a whisper, at times a scream. Outro. There is an echo in the wind. So that was such great words. I said, oh, I had to put that down.
They-
Music.
They're amazing words, and what I marvel at is how few words there are on a page make such a big song.
Oh yeah, sure. You think of Neil Young.
Yeah.
A lot of his songs are like, wait a minute, you know.
Right.
Or
right.
Bob Marley. You know,
Right,
Three
right.
Little Birds. There's only 2 verses to that, and that's how that works.
It's amazing.
I also am always encouraging the members of the band to write verses.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I wrote one that you kept on the page but never used.
Well, I never used. Yeah, that was an ending that you wrote. You said, "Oh, we can end it this way," but I never heard you play it, so I didn't know the
Oh,
melody to that.
Okay.
So I kind of left it off. And
Okay.
in fact, I thought about that day I was getting over here. I tried to work out what it was you had in mind with that,
Okay.
because without a melody, you know, there's chord changes, but without a melody, I wasn't sure what to do with it. And it also
Sure.
didn't have the timing signature on there either. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe after we're done.
Sure. Okay. How are we doing here? How much time we got?
You know, we're the timekeepers.
Oh, okay.
You can do a couple more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's another very simple song.
It's a beautiful song too.
This is we camp up at. No, this is a secret. Don't tell anybody. At Nordhaus Dunes Lake Michigan Recreation Area.
Okay.
It's halfway between Ludington and Manistee.
Mm.
You got to go through about 8 miles of forest road to get to the campground, which is
Beautiful.
right on the lake. There's federal land there, and there's backed up to state land, part of Ludington State Park. So
Mhm.
there's about 15 miles of public land
Nice.
along that whole stretch of Lake Michigan, and no cabins or anything on that. And you can boondock there too. So if you're not in the campground, you can camp for free. You know, no facilities, of course, but there's forest roads back there, and you find a wide spot.
Mm.
And sometimes when we go there and our family shows up, we make a bunch of noise and racket till late at night. So we stay out of the campground where you don't have that restriction. So we're
Right.
out there, and we're out there with the crickets and the owls and everything else. And it's just down the road from the Forest Trail Music Festival,
Nice.
which also happens out that way. And that was a really nice festival. We went to it for the first time last year. And I
Yeah.
think we saw the ragbirds there, and that was a good thing.
Right.
All right, here's Endless Trees. That's this place I just described
Yeah.
is kind of based on being there. To the D minor, G, oh, those trees endless trees, far as you can go, far as you can see, so green, so tall, their windy call, here they stand, and stand for all. Cover all. Hew them down, they don't scream. Burn them up in a bad dream. From ash the sea again shall rise after we're gone, after we've died. Always the same, never change, the sea of trees, these endless trees, all around, hear their sound, all around, these endless trees. This is another great song for traveling.
Yeah,
Throw it on
yeah.
your car, you watch the white lines going.
Right, and it really gives you the view of the drive. You know, you're just going and going,
Yeah,
and
it's
there's
kinda-
more trees, and you're going, there's more trees.
A good song will kind of set a mood.
Yeah.
I think
Now-
like
There's a song that Nitpickers usually end on, isn't there?
yeah, that would be Sunny Day Blues. Oh no, Glory Train.
Yes. But
I
that's
know
a
that.
cover, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, you wrote that?
That's another.
So it's a cover of your song.
All the songs are covers of my song. Once you learn a song so many times, you play it so many times. That's the thing about getting good at a song is you get tired of it.
Yeah.
You get kind of sick of it. And but on the other hand, you know, that's what
It's
it's
just
about,
about fun,
I guess.
right?
Yeah,
Right?
it's fun.
Yeah, this is usually and what if we just have you play us out on this song?
Okay. This is a happy song about death. Can you see? Can you hear? Take my hand, have no fear. It's just our train coming down the track. We'll get on board and we won't be back. Give my love
Give my love
to all I love.
to all I love.
Give my prayers
Give my prayers
to God above.
to God above.
Hand me down
Hand me down
my walking cane.
my walking cane.
Get on board
Get on board.
that glory train. Hear that whistle, hear it blow. Feel the train begin to slow. We're coming home. We're right on time to enter in a world divine. Give my love to all I love. Give my prayers to God above. Hand me down my walking cane. Get on board the glory train. On the quay, ancestors stand with shouts of joy and waving hands. It's just our train coming down the track. We'll all get off and we won't be back. Give my love to all I love. Give my prayers to God above. Hand me down my walking cane. Get on board the glory train. Hand me down my walking cane. Get on board that glory train. That's a good song to play at funerals. Yeah, it's like the New Orleans thing, you know, where and then suddenly they change and they're all playing a happy thing. That's sort of the happy part, I guess.
Yeah, and listening to this, and we did ask you to play us out by yourself, but without those echoes, you know.
Yeah, well, you couldn't help yourself, could you? You had to,
no.
Yeah, the whole, a lot of these songs are good for chorals.
Yeah.
To group. When you got 15 people, you got plenty of people to sing the chorus parts, so that often works out really well.
Well, John, I've really enjoyed your nitpicking with us.
Thank you. This is my pleasure, too.
Yeah. Anything else, Andy?
I think this was a really good session today because we played a lot of songs.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Studio C, the listening room with Andy Schiller.
And Michael Snyder Barker.
Thank you. And our good friend, John Delcamp.
From the Nitpickers.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Peace.
See you next time.